Tuesday, May the 26th, 2026. Tim OZman, how you doing? Oh, you're on mute. There you are.
Good. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. I live stream about. Yeah, thanks for having me on. And like I was saying, I was just having a live stream like an hour ago, and it got cut off abruptly. It wasn't anything anybody chatted. Nobody's fault. It was simply the storm had cut off the power in this part of town. But we just got it fixed about 10 minutes ago, right on time.
All right, that's excellent. The gods of power are on our side tonight. Yeah, that would be a problem if the power went out.
Yeah, it seemed. Yeah, for a minute there, it seemed like a little targeted, but I looked and there's like 500 residences, so it wasn't just me, but it seemed plausible for a moment.
Yeah, well, it would be good for a conspiracy channel if you were targeted, but I don't think. Have you ever been a targeted individual? That's a thing, allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced gang stalking from Freemasons and Scientologists, which is a thing with both of these groups. And gang stalking is an interesting phenomenon in and of itself when they make it known. But I don't know if the targeted individual movement is anything more than confirmation bias and paranoia. I don't buy it. There's this exercise that Robert Anton Wilson came up with called What the Thinker Thinks, the Prover Proves. And he says, tell yourself that you're being watched by the government and then write down all the evidence you see over the next week. And if you prime yourself with a suggestion, guess what? You notice everything. Oh, look, they're working on the power lines to spy on me. And that kind of suggestion is what predictive programming does. It's what makes people susceptible to the psyops because they've been prepared to respond in predictable ways, which is why our focus recently has really been Seattle and the predictive programming
back
for
in
that
the
event.
news. So Seattle's back. Every year it comes back.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a de facto holiday here, but I decided, you know what, this year I'm going to put together the best case we can for this scenario being plausible. And what really made me think this is significant is like this year is Terminator 2. So I decided I'm going to go to Seattle for 6/11, and I already got the rental car booked.
Oh, you are going? Wow.
Yeah, I'll be boots on the ground.
And what about Jurassic Liars? Will he be joining?
No, I was hoping I'd pick him up and we'd make a road trip out of it, but he said, "Stay out of Seattle, repent. You're gonna die. You're not gonna come back." He said, "Don't unalive yourself." Yeah, he thinks it's gonna be real. And so either I'm gonna get nuked or cannibalized by the Chazastanians, but he doesn't think I'm coming back.
Wow, he's a real doomer, huh?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't think they're gonna break form. It's fake event, fake event, fake event. You think suddenly it's gonna get real? Like that would if it does get real, it'll be a significant departure from form, and it would be a next level or shift in things, which I can't rule it out 100%. You know, maybe I will get hit by a real sea, based submarine attack or something, radioactive tsunami. I mean, I could die out there, to be honest.
Why this year and not last year and the year before? Because we didn't get anything the last couple of years.
Right. Good question here. He never really pinned it down to a year. And how would we have known, for example, 9/11 to be in 2001? Like, I don't know how you would determine such a thing, but he hasn't really nailed down a year. The reason why I'm kind of looking at it this year is last year it was preceded by Final Destination Bloodline, which curiously had a parallel with the real Space Needle opening up their new elevator, which is how the movie starts. And that one has a Seattle destruction theme. Now, it didn't happen last year, but I could see how it fits into the story. And as we're getting close to 6/11 right now, there are a number of things that have been in the news that kind of correlate with this, such as the buildup. But the main thing for me, Terminator 2, because that's James Cameron's work. And James Cameron is a contributor to 9/11 predictive programming. His Titanic is very dramatic with its depiction of jumpers and the thing splitting in two and sinking. He was there at the Titanic on 9/11. So if you look at the James Cameron aspect of it, with T2 being up right now, having that detonation, which has been recognized by scientists as the most realistic depiction of a nuke, why are they blasting that onto the mass consciousness? Well, for the same reason that they put the finale of The Boys in the theaters, which I went to go see, where they kill a Trump proxy, basically an effigy. So predictive programming placement to me suggests both the head wound scenario and the nuke start scenario are in play.
Yeah.
And even the point where they EMP'd, for all intents and purposes, the Homelander to take his powers. I've picked up some what I consider to be predictive programming. Also, there's some seeming predictions for Musk dying possibly on the way to Mars, but that's a separate topic, I guess.
Okay. I just typed in 611 Seattle on Google News, but nothing showed up. So,
Well, one thing that's going on is they're having a major, I guess they're participating in the soccer games, and so
oh,
they're
right.
closing
FIFA.
off and I was just posting this in the Discord server. They're closing off a large section of the city around on game days. They're changing the way they do transportation. There's more because
Yeah.
it says here, you never know what's going to happen. And this is Bob Kettle, who's a council member. He
Yeah.
says, we're referencing Boston Marathon and the 96 Atlanta Olympic bombing. He's referencing this, and he says they've conducted training exercises for drone attacks, cyber incidents, and mass casualty scenarios. Streets surrounding the stadium will be shut down on the March days, and the parking garages in the last mile will be closed. The camera
Wow.
system also, people are complaining about privacy, so they're talking about somehow it's like they want to
Turning
control
them
the
off.
cameras. Yeah, like they don't want witnesses. And then the FBI has talked about drones and how during the Seahawks Super Bowl celebration there were drones and they had to take care of them. So they're getting ready to do some kind of anti-drone activity. And why would they do that? Because if they're going to pull off a psyop, they don't want other cameras. Like on 9/11, they seize the cameras. They're getting poised. It looks plausible to me because this is the day it kicks off, 6/11. So it's plausible to me that they're setting the stage, and that looks like a lot of distance, and it looks like the drone scenario, and then setting the expectations. They've done simulations, and what do simulations usually precede in your experience?
Oh, psyops events. Yeah.
So I'm going
What
up
day will you
there.
be there?
I'll be there on the 11th.
And you'll be live streaming?
Yeah, I'll be on Kick, YouTube, and everything else.
Well, that's excellent. Excellent devotion to the cause.
Well, you see here the IPS press badge.
Hmm.
We were in 2020. We were using this to say we weren't lockdownable because they said if you're media, you're essential. And we were fact checking the claims of the media. And I've said since then, our objective should be to have a press pass carrier in every area where a major PSYOP happens so we could get some perspective on the matter. And so here, what I'm doing is based on the assessment that we've made on predictive programming with JL's take on it, I'm willing to take a look at 611 up close uh, and see if it aligns. And given what I've seen in my own media analysis in the last few weeks, it seems poised for something. And I don't know if you've followed any of the stuff with that show called The Boys, but the
No.
directors and the crew, the actors, everyone around it have acknowledged that it's consistently mirrored Trump. Like they're talking about concurrent programming, not even predictive. And they can't explain it. But there are multiple episodes where it just tracks with Trump. And this has been a pattern. So that's why I'm saying it's highly significant that that show is put in the theaters along with T2. If you put the stories together, you have the foreshadowing of a nuclear 9/11, in my view.
All right. And it says here Monday, June 15th is the first of FIFA event, Belgium versus Egypt. That's June
Okay.
15th. I don't have anything for FIFA on this calendar here for June 11th.
Okay, good. Well, let me take a look because I was told that it's going to be really hard to find any kind of parking.
Yeah, this is the Lumen Field. This is where it's happening. The Seattle Stadium. That's what you're talking about.
Yes, yes, that's the one.
And where's that needle thing? Is that part of the whole event?
I've never been there.
Space Needle. Here it is. There's the Space Needle over here.
Now, near
Yeah.
the Space Needle was this thing called the Experience Music Project. You get the acronym. And there was a magazine called Empire that had this picture from the Odyssey, which is coming up, a Christopher Nolan film, which brings out Poseidon. And we're looking at the storm god. And so there's a lot of interesting things in media that are forming a backdrop to this. And for people who are, not, really caught up with this whole thing,
Yeah.
we've been doing kind of a retrospective on the correlation between real, quote, real events like news events and things that happen in the movies. And
Yes.
they've been tracking one to one as far back as we look. And one of the earliest metascriptors I've been examining is John Frankenheimer,
Okay.
and he's associated with both of the Kennedy assassinations, and
Hmm.
his movies provided concurrent programming and predictive programming for those. But he's one of the examples of someone I'd consider to be a metascriptor. And right now, you can look at someone like James Cameron, Christopher Nolan, and the director of the series The Boys, also as even Barack Obama. I consider him to be a metascriptor. We were talking about this today with his Leave the World Behind. Anyone in big entertainment who is creating content that correlates to incoming fake events or concurrent fake events, they're part of the manufacturing of the simulation. The simulation being the internalized Truman Show, the consensus version of events, which is real plus the fake stuff. The people who are contributing to that directly, as in directors and writers, are meta scripters. Just so people understand my terminology, because we can name names. We're not saying the Jesuits or
Hmm.
you know what I mean. We're not naming vague organizations. We're naming names of individuals who have zero plausible deniability, who
Hmm.
are directly or 1 degree separated from a psyop. And recent events have given us some leverage, specifically the Charlie Kirk thing. But anyway, if you want to talk about more recent events, like have you paid
Yeah. Let's
attention
go.
to the what about the mask thing? Have you watched Robert Harward's appearance on Fox where it looks like he's wearing a mask?
I'm sorry I haven't, but I did see the little controversy, and I saw some of your responses to that.
Okay.
And Jake the Awake, as he's now called as well. There's a little controversy there.
Well, he and I disagree about it, and a lot of people in my server say it could be a mask. Some say probably not, but the shadow looks too intentional. So there's this ongoing, I wouldn't say controversy, but there's a discussion.
Yeah.
And as a skeptic, and this is my only critique of Jake the Awake, is that he jumped to the conclusion it was a mask, or immediately when everyone else did. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm watching Megan Kelly, and this is like 20. It's just like watching 2020 IPS. She's
Yeah.
covering exactly what we covered: Jonah Mendez, the masks. I mean, I'm just like, this is just bizarre. But anyway, I don't think he had enough information to know for sure if it was a mask or if there's a better explanation. And to be a skeptic, you have to gather additional information. So to do my part, I hired a local cinematographer, and she's
Wow.
at work right now, recreating the lighting to show how easy it is to make somebody look like they're wearing a rubber mask.
Okay.
And I'll be reaching out later and getting. Hopefully, I'll be able to go over there and just put myself in the video. But either way, I'm going to be given a demonstration of how it can be recreated easily, which then makes the point. The explanation, the theory rather, that's easier that you can replicate is more likely correct. So if I can replicate it that easily, then it's probably not a mask.
Interesting. So you're debunking the whole mask gate, I guess.
I'm adding to the conversation.
And that's sort of gone away. Okay, here we go. Jake the Awake. Yeah, I read your piece. Jake the Awake's unintentional disinfo about hyper realistic masks. You did a good post on that on Substack.
And here's why I'm saying it's disinfo, because they concluded it was a mask on
Mhm.
bad evidence, on a bad thought process, jumping to conclusions, incredulity, rather than real skepticism. So I'm saying that he contributed to the chaos of the mob. And when it comes down to it, I think we need to have a little more, um,
Discernment.
yeah, because it could be truth or bait, whatever it is. But I'm saying we need to kind of not go with the potential bait. I mean, I've been very, because they do it with every shooting. Have you noticed every shooting? They threw out some bait. They say it was a Reddit radicalized trans shooter. And then you find
Oh
out
yeah.
it wasn't. But that story gets out there every single time, and they all take the bait. And I'm like, why are people falling for this stuff?
So the guy, the picture on the left looks like the guy's wearing something. A lot of the wrinkles are gone. It's quite smooth. Are you saying this is not a mask on the left? That's just him with bad lighting?
Well, okay, look at the inside of his mouth, how dark it is. See how pitch
Hmm.
black that is?
Yes. And
Okay,
there's no teeth.
that's an indicator of how harsh the lighting is. So the truth of it is he's in a van and there's
Hmm.
harsh lighting above. And it was broadcast and then there's compression. And so what I'm saying is that that seems like a reasonable explanation because I've seen similar effects before. And the same day he shows up with no such lighting and he looks completely normal. I look at older pictures of him and he does have this sort of recessed area between his clavicles, which accounts for the exceptionally dark spot that's as dark as the inside of his mouth. And of course, you look at the skin texture. It's like, why is he so smooth in one? So I'm just saying it's kind of jumping the gun to just conclude it's a mask. And we could still discuss if this is an intentional diversion or not. But first of all, I want to establish that this is more likely not a mask than it is a mask. But here's the point that's being missed. And this is my main point here. This is why I say he's doing disinformation, because the hyper realistic masks aren't easy to see, and they've already populated the environment and the
Hmm.
political arena. We've already been deep faked, and to think that you would even know, it's like Megan Kelly could be one, Charlie Kirk. I mean, that's how effective it is. So the idea that it would be exposed that easily is kind of ridiculous. And
What about the AI generation of these people? Because I've watched a couple YouTube videos of people I thought were real people, but they're AI generated copies, and they're pretty close.
Well, this individual has a background and there's a lot of footage. So
Hmm.
so I ruled that out, but I mean it could be. But I would honestly say that the AI stuff doesn't look as bad as that.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, the AI is pretty good, and
Hmm.
I was surprised. There was one guy who I can't remember the name right now. I was watching it as if it was real, but they had the hand waving to excess, and it made me suspicious. And then I think I looked down, and now YouTube will always say that this was generated with AI.
Apparently I am they actually ruled that I'm artificially intelligent. They had one of their Blade Runners. They said I'm a replicant and
Right.
I can't get paid.
So the image that you are projecting on YouTube is a replicant.
Yeah.
So it's not
By,
you in the
by their
hat.
by their standards, I don't
Mhm.
exist and they don't have to pay me. It's that arbitrary. And I just think it's a cruel Kafka-esque joke and it should be suable, but it's not.
Right. So if you are not your own likeness on video, then you don't get paid.
Pretty much. And this is an effort they say, okay, so this ties into everything because they say this is to clean up the environment from AI slop. But honestly,
Mm.
a lot of this stuff wasn't slop. They just took a lot of it away. And I think they did this on purpose because in preparation for a big psyop, this is another reason why I think Seattle might be this year. They said in preparation for the big one, it
Hmm.
would make sense that they would want to get rid of all of the content creators who have big audiences and
Yeah.
can just remix content because they want to control how the psyop is performed. They want to monopolize it. That's why they want to clear the airspace and get rid of cameras. Like to me, this looks like they're setting the stage.
Interesting. So this is Jake the Awake's video. And
Yes.
so what is this? Are you saying this is a lighting problem right here that's circled?
Yes. And look, I'm not saying it doesn't look like the seam of a mask, but
Yeah.
the other part of it is that it moves as he talks, which
Hmm.
would be consistent with harsh lighting above, creating a shadow with his chin. But if it was a mask, I don't think that moving the mouth would cause the bottom of the neck to jiggle. That would be a very
Hmm.
loose mask.
It's very masky.
Well, he looks like he's melting, like a melted candle. I mean, he looks effed up. Nobody disputes this. But
Yeah.
it's because it's just the grotesque um, effect on his skin. It just looks so gross because he's just so. It looks like he's Looks like he's been skinned, and it's harsh lighting and high contrast. And if you notice, yeah, it looks weird, especially when he inhales. But
Hmm.
it correlates with the movements of his mouth. And if the light's right above him, then there's some shadow play. But it looks like a mask. It looks crazy. It looks kind of
It
twisted. I
looks
mean,
super masky to me.
it's
This is the
hard.
first time I watched it.
Nobody disputes it looks like a mask. So that's why we're here.
But you're saying it's not a mask.
I'm saying it's not a mask because the same guy,
Okay.
the same guy was on a different network later, and he looked completely normal. And so
Yeah.
then people said, "Oh, what's the difference?" Well, different lighting.
Well, he's got a lot of. Okay. Well, this is interesting.
So this
This
is
is a real
why
dispute. Real.
this this is the trending story on the. This is like the most. This is the top story right now. It's bigger than
Yeah. I
than
have to admit I've been out
aliens.
of it. What does the audience say, Suzette? How does your audience? How are they responding? Are they agreeing with you, or
No, I don't know how many people agree with me, but
you're
it's
really
because
going upriver here?
no, I'm really. The thing is that to me, this can be explained without recourse to the mask thing. Because why would he wear a mask of himself?
Hmm.
And
Well,
the
hey,
end
now
goal.
you know
Now,
because it's creating a controversy.
okay, but the end goal, I say, is disinformation to
Hmm.
cover the fact that the real masks are undetectable and have been for decades.
Yeah,
That's the
I
whole
would agree
thing.
with that. I think
And so,
Jonah Hill, you talked about her, and so
yes.
did No Agenda Show. They talked about her
Oh, in fact,
from
Megan Kelly talked about her last night. She's like, Jonah Mendez, director of CIA,
Jonah
27 years.
Mendez. Yeah,
Yep.
but why is that so public? The Jonah Mendez story from she said that they brought an intelligence agency or asset in to talk to George Bush, and he didn't know
Yeah,
something like that.
he was talking to her for a while. He didn't know. He looked up close, couldn't tell that she
Yeah.
could not see through it. And that was what 40 years ago, 40 or 50 years ago. And the information wasn't declassified until 2015. And it's likely because they have phased it out in large part. But my point, and I wrote a book about it called Deep Faked, which you can get free on my website right now. I
Yeah.
published a book on it on in 2019 to make the point that we need to operate on the premise that this has already been in play for many decades. And so
Hmm.
there are conceivably celebrities, politicians, religious leaders, and who knows, people who don't exist, who have already been inserted into our minds, into our lives. We've been deep faked already.
What did you think of what do you think of the Biden thing?
Lighting. And the thing
No
is,
mask for Biden?
in that particular one, it was lighting. Yeah, so as far as Biden, I don't know. Biden's a puzzling one to me. So like Biden could be a real one, and it could be distracting. I don't know. It could be trying to dilute the whole issue. But the thing with the Biden thing is many of those are false positives. And so if you separate those, what are the biggest indicators that Biden has some kind of a mask thing on?
Does it have
Uh,
to be a dialectic? Could it be a blend of things as well? Because the Biden that began in Congress didn't look like the Biden that was president.
okay, I
So
would point
there's
out that
many things that could have changed.
the
Different
skull gets
person.
me. The skull gets me. Like if it looks to me, to be honest, if you juxtapose Joe Biden, VP Joe Biden, President
Hmm.
Joe Biden, and then this supposedly deceased Bo Biden, you put those
Right.
three together. I'm like, wait, Bo Biden's skull is a closer match to President Biden
Right.
than it is to Vice President. And skulls don't shrink. So I kind of thought that, well, maybe Bo Biden went undercover and came back as his dad, and that was the whole thing. Who better to
Mhm.
play than a family member who has a
Yeah.
lot of resemblances, even in body language? And I thought maybe this is some kind of, and I considered it for a lot of reasons, but that was one of my theories.
This now, I guess this is Jake the Awake saying it's a ridiculous excuse right here. I'm not listening to the Jake the Awake video, but I'm just watching it.
Yeah. Oh, he's suggesting that it's a shill response, and so for my part, I'm not just saying, oh, the news media says blah blah blah. What I'm doing is I hired a local cinematographer and they're
Mhm.
hard at work right now in the studio, and they're recreating the effect for me to demonstrate how it's done and why it happens. Because apparently, the news crews are very well aware of these effects, and somebody let this one just get out of hand. Or maybe because he was bald, it was exaggerated. But the lighting, yeah, it didn't do
I
him a
don't
favor.
know.
He looks like a cue ball.
You're getting a little flack in the comments here. Jake Allen says IPS sounds like a plant sometimes.
Yeah, well,
It's not
I don't know.
easy to be on the cutting edge.
I don't know. I'm really pushing back against the mob mentality here, because the methodology matters. If you automatically disbelieve what they show you and you can't critically analyze it, then your opinion's not worth as much. Low information belief, low info opinions aren't as good as informed disbelief or informed opinions. And I don't think they have enough information to have any kind of argument here, especially if they haven't looked at what the officials say. And at a minimum, they should be attempting what I'm attempting, to discredit it, because they may call me and they may say, sorry, we couldn't do the effect. It's impossible. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm the one doing the work. So to call me a shill is just showing how lazy they are.
Mm-hmm. When will this video come out of your cinematographer showing the problem?
I just hired her like an hour ago,
Okay.
and she's working on it now, and I'll close the deal tonight, and I'm going to upload it right away.
How long might that take?
I don't know. Actually, I could check. I wouldn't imagine just more than an hour or two. I mean, all she's doing is trying to recreate the lighting in the inside of a van, which involves a light almost directly above his head, or whoever's head, and then looks like there's a couple cross lights. So I don't know what kind of lighting that is specifically. And then another element to it is you're looking at something that's broadcast from a van, so there's some video compression, so there's some loss in quality. So I don't know. We'll see. But I'm saying that just because it looks like a mask doesn't mean it is a mask. And would a mask have a twitchy neck stump? And that's Megan Kelly's show, which is this lady. This is hilarious. These people are basically doing 2020 era IPS.
Wow. So they're way behind.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't know what Megan Kelly's show has turned into.
oh, it's funny. She's kind of gone rogue.
So
I
she's
mean,
a little Candace Owen, Megan Kelly. They're all in the same
she is.
camp.
Oh, the other day
But
she did
is
this
it
thing.
paralleling? We call it paralleling, right?
Yeah, she's jumping on that bandwagon. Megan Kelly did an impersonation of Mark Levin, and she hunched herself over and she did that merchant J pill meme where they rub the hands together. She didn't do the hands, but she did the crouched over body thing, and she was imitating Mark Levin and cackling. Like, she's become something else. She's
Hmm.
not she's not the Nicole Simpson that we all grew to love and
Yeah.
got. I mean,
I don't think
honestly,
she's Nicole Simpson.
I don't think so either. I mean,
I think Nicole Simpson was just a remodeling of Denise Brown Simpson, who's still alive.
look, a lot of these claims started with Dallas Goldbug, and I like
Right.
Dallas Goldbug's overall premise of the actor-driven reality. I think he had a lot of stuff down, but his whole analysis was based on like cosmetic surgery and analyzing the veins in people's hands and their ears. And he's the one who started a lot of these. And having vetted them, I don't know how many of them actually hold any water. And that particular one has been talked about by Megan Kelly for years anyway, which is kind of weird too, if you think about it.
Lots of comments on here on this Jake the Awake video. He got lots of, how many views? 16,000 views. So it's still a hot one. Let's see if he's done anything else on his channel. Okay, same thing. This is his latest video. And Jake gets a lot of hits. I guess not too many, 92,000 subscribers, but he's the real deal
Oh
in
yeah,
terms of YouTube.
yeah. Well, he's also playing it smart because it's so easy to get demonetized, and I think he's comedian too. So since he does comedy, I don't know what kind of protection that gets you, but I don't know. I think he flies under the radar much easier than anybody else would. But yeah, YouTube is, to me, it's just a very unstable platform. I mean, they just decided I was a robot, and maybe I am. If I was, would I
Hmm.
know?
What's the audience say? Put your comment in if you think it's a mask or if you think it's lighting. And yeah, Mystery thinks Megan Kelly is a boy. Could be.
Mr. E, is he in the chat?
No, Mr. E is a frequent guest on my show. He's not. He doesn't normally watch this show. So, oh, Cameron said that.
I'd like to hear his opinion on Richard Dawkins' obsession with Claude AI. Have you caught up with that?
No, I'm using Claude
Okay.
these days.
Well, he is convinced now that Claude is sentient and that Claude's actually Claudette. And I'm like, how
That's
did he
funny.
arrive at that? But anyway,
The Swiss LA says they've got to get us all talking about something. Well, this is a talk show, so we do talk about stuff.
no, it could very well be just to say, I mean, maybe they said, hey, we can really screw up the lighting and make this guy look like he's wearing a sick mask. And then conspiracy theorists will go crazy. And then they'll think, I mean, they could have gamed this out
Yes.
because this has been mainstreamed to death. And people are, I'm waiting for Joe Rogan to talk about it next. And this is stuff we were talking about but pre-COVID. And I'm thinking, could this just be an attempt to dilute the conversation and make it into a joke? I don't know. It's really strange. I kind of don't think it's intentional. I think this is the result of a bunch of truthers and former QAnoners who just jumped to conclusions because they were saying this for years. They were saying it for years. Everybody's a mask, and so I don't know. I kind of think it's a symptom of a lot of leftover QAnon stuff rather than
I agree.
we'll
QAnon
see.
seems very psyopery, very discrediting for those that question things. Yeah, it's muddying the water and all that. It's an ongoing disinformation campaign, and the idea is nothing is knowable and everything is questionable.
But maybe not. I mean, on the other hand, it does become a teachable moment because now suddenly people have been apprised of the work of Jonah Mendez, which is what we were trying to do anyway. We're talking about the stuff. So now when you talk about it, they can't call you crazy. You could say, no, this was on Megyn Kelly. So in a way, the mainstreaming of these things makes it easier for us to discourse about them to the mainstreamers who are gate kept. So
what was your take on the Jim Carrey thing? That was a few months ago now. Was that him?
I kind of felt bad for him because I think, it's not like the same thing as body shaming or something, but I think people who are upgrading themselves cosmetically might be a little sensitive to that kind of stuff. So I kind of thought, it looks consistent with Botox. I don't know why you would jump to Illuminati killed him and replace him with a clone that doesn't look like him. It's like, sorry, but if they have deep fake tech for hyper realistic masks, why would they order one that doesn't look like the guy if they're trying to swap him out? Like none of their theories made any sense to me. And so I just stuck with my Occam's razor and he just got some cosmetic work done. And the other people are still stuck on, no, Jim Carrey's been replaced. It's
Well,
clickbait.
there can be backups. People have actors have backups.
Well, yeah, okay, that's not untrue. I mean,
Yeah.
body doubles do exist.
Yeah, body doubles. Well, world leaders, actors, stand-ins.
Okay, now if that's a body double, next time he shows himself, he's not going to
Mhm.
look like that, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I don't even know what Jim Carrey looks like today. Only know from past movies.
But to even make such a claim, you'd have to do some background research. Like, for example, to say that that guy was wearing a mask, or you have to say, well, have you looked into his past? Have you seen other videos of him? Because I looked at his other photo ops, and he definitely has a very pronounced dip between his clavicles. I don't know why, but it's there. And when you look at this video here, there's an exceptionally dark spot there that they're calling the jagged seam. It's like, no,
Yeah.
that's the dude's next, that's his skin draped over his clavicles. I think he's an exercise guy and he has very low body fat. And so he's just kind of bony right there.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's try another topic. You've got a lot of stuff always on your
Okay,
X.
fittest flat earther. Fittest flat
Uh,
earther is, to me, in my opinion, a disinformation spammer. I don't
okay.
think there's any other way to explain it. So he's out here saying that Candace Owens is Oprah Winfrey. And if you don't believe me, you're an NPC. Like that's the kind of leaps he's making. And he's crap flooding the zone and he's
Yeah.
heavily promoted. I'm like, what? So
That's
and I know what
spam.
he's doing.
Yeah, you're right. That's spam.
He's paying. like I'm
True
starting to
spam.
do.
True
He's
spam.
well, he's doing what do you call them? Video clippers, where the people who are posting it, it's not that they're bots, but these people are basically part of a group of people who want to promote stuff for money, and he's paying them
Yeah,
$1
paid
per 1,000 views.
influencers. Yeah, and there's a budget for that.
So
I think Netanyahu said he had to do that to get the message out.
well, he's putting a lot of money into flooding the zone with ridiculous propositions. Candace Owens, Oprah Winfrey. Another one he said was it was Ozzy Osbourne and the singer of Slaughter. And he's like, if you don't see it, you're dumb. And I'm like looking at pictures of these two over the years. Like he's not even putting any research into it. There's no explanation for it. But the fact that it's just like so popular on X suggests that this guy is a plant.
Yes, I don't even have the audio, and I already don't want to listen to this guy.
No, look, I instinctively tuned him out when I saw the wagging finger. I instinctively thought, okay, there's something wrong about it's too formulaic. Like all these agents and operators are trained the exact same way. Something just
So Sam
clued me in.
Tripoli
But
isn't
anyway,
buying it, and that's what you reposted.
yeah, actually, I was impressed. Sam Tripoli calls this guy out as a disinfo show because Sam Tripoli is a principled conspiracy theorist, not a conspiracy slop peddler like Fittest Flat Earther. And by the way, Fittest Flat Earther is also I don't know if he's a raging psychopath or a sociopath, but he threatened to kill Jake Gibson.
Oh, great.
And then he apologized, not to Jake, but he apologized to his audience.
Right.
I'm like,
There's
okay,
another guy. I guess they're called J Pillars. Dustin Nemos. He went after Johnny Cerrucci, who I know you don't get along with. And
Johnny Cerrucci. Yeah, the guy, the Jesuit guy.
Yeah, and Johnny wanted me to host a debate between the two. So I never heard of Dustin Nemos, but he was brought in. He was brought forward to Johnny, who never heard of him either. But my point is that this Dustin Nemos character seems like he's just put there to be an agitator as well.
Oh yeah, I think he's connected to Infowars. He's a psyop operative.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, he's part of that crew. It's just like anybody who gets on Infowars to me is immediately questionable. Like, how can you trust anybody that's been up on that platform? It's insane, especially now. Look how connected, how deep they are in the various psyops, like January 6th, Owen Schroyer. Like, I think their breakup was fake. Owen Schroyer leaving the network. No, because they're all on the same team. They're all part of the same psyop department.
You reposted a Bill Cooper thing about Alex Jones. I think I've seen that quite a few times in the past.
I think about it quite a bit. I don't know where I place Cooper because obviously a lot of his opinions are, conspiracy theory claptrap. But then again, the timing is everything. But the time he existed, maybe certain things weren't known about how things would be faked because he said there would be a lot of fake shootings to grab guns.
Yeah.
And that is the psyop story they played.
Before we
he
get
was
started,
also
I have to clear up.
Yeah.
He was cute, but anyway, here he does say that Alex Jones is. Well, you can hear him. He really has it out for some
little discrepancy here.
Yes, he does.
Apparently, the other night, or within the last week, because I've been getting a lot of email about this, and I even received one telephone call. Apparently, somebody called the Alex Jones broadcast and asked him why he didn't have me on the air, or asked him something about me. Alex Jones said he had me on the air once before, several years ago, and had to cut me off the air because of the foul language that I used. So on the air tonight, I'm going to tell you, Alex Jones, you are a bold-faced, miserable, stinking little coward liar.
Yeah, okay. I remember that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it could just be, friendly competition.
Yeah. Artificial feud, as it were.
as we see now between Candace Owens and
Yeah.
Laura Loomer, this infighting could just be all kayfabe because they're all on Team Fake. And so I'm kind of it's a way of passing the torch because he's about to exit the stage, and then
Yes.
Jones is going to take his place. So in a way, it could just be a contrived exit. I actually
Yes.
have a theory about this, but anyway,
Yeah. Go
one thing I
ahead.
like.
Do you think he really left the stage, or
Um,
as told, was he shot?
I think it might have been. I don't know. I have to look into it more, but I do have this theory though about some of these individuals. I was going to mention a different one. I think that Art Bell faked his death.
Okay.
Side topic, but I think that he could be dead by now, but I just don't think he died when it was reported, and I have reasons for saying so.
Yes.
But I'll leave it
He's
at
in your
that.
neck of the woods, isn't he? He's in was in Pahrump, which isn't too far from New Mexico, I think.
No, I'll be passing by there. In fact, I might stop at the spot where Isaac Cappy landed and do a little kick stream there. I've stopped there before, just to
What
show that
about
the book.
where was Bill Cooper's residence when he was shot at allegedly by the FBI or
I don't know. I could
U.S.
probably
Marshals? He was around there too, no?
imagine if I go there. I think it's like in Arizona somewhere. Imagine if I go
Yes.
to the place where he was killed by the U.S. Marshals or something,
Yes.
and while I'm there, one of my enemies like swats me.
Oh,
Calls the
that
SWAT
was
team, and then I get gunned down live on Kick. Like that could happen. That's what swatting does, right?
right. Well, just don't point a weapon at any of the people, and maybe you
Have you?
shouldn't.
Oh,
Maybe you shouldn't let people know where you are before you're there.
hey, have you kept up with this thing with Chud the Builder? Do you think that was fake, or do you think you really shot the guy?
I don't know Chud the Builder either. I'm seeing that in the messages as well. What's
Okay.
This is why we have you on the show because I don't know what's going on. So I just bring this to the audience.
Okay, I don't know what I don't. Okay, so Chud the Builder's whole thing is he's an agent provocateur, basically racially targeting blacks in the street and then throwing racial slurs. And then when
Okay.
they get in his face, he pepper sprays them. He's doing not even self defense. He's doing self offense. He's triggering responses, and he's been doing this for many months. And he hasn't really had anything significant other than his hat getting knocked off. But then the other day, he got in a scuffle. He pulled out the gun and supposedly shot the guy in the foot, and now he's being charged with attempted murder. And they're not releasing him on bond, 1.25 million, and he's raised that much in GoFundMe, and they're still not letting him out. So anyway, that's the basic story of it. He's in jail right now, supposedly attempted murder. And I looked at the video, and it's just too blurry and grainy. You can't really see anything yet. But they supposedly have better footage from the courthouse cameras, which haven't been released yet. They said 8 angles. So this is like a psyop in the making. It's not even done yet.
Yeah, I haven't a clue.
And one more point about it. The reason why it's even noticed is that he was getting paid a lot of money to do this live on Kick. So I think he's some kind of like provocateur, agitator to take down or somehow curtail live streaming or independent live streamers. I
Mm.
think that's the agenda.
Yeah, I agree with that. They create these events to create laws. Hey, Bill Cooper lived in Eager, Arizona. So you say you're in Albuquerque, so you'd have to
Yes.
go south and across or zigzag down to this little area here on the map. I'll show you here. Eager,
You know,
Eager, Arizona.
he had said I think in Behold a Pale Horse that he saw a UFO come out of the ocean, and he was like, I think he was meant to see it. He thinks he believes he had Q clearance because he was a
Yeah,
youth Mason.
ONI. He was
Hmm.
ONI, Office of Naval Intelligence. So not too. I'm not too certain he was helping people or just there to create a alternative view, but very entertaining.
Have you heard of Project Yankee Blue?
No.
It's this supposed hazing they do in the Air Force where they show the new recruits some folder,
Okay.
they sign an NDA, and they show them like reverse engineered UFO stuff. And
Ah,
apparently,
okay.
but I don't know. They said it was a hazing, but I'm just wondering. It's some kind of weird disinfo campaign, I guess.
I'm with you when you talk about the Air Force movie. what's it called? Where the Air Force has created UFOs.
Yeah, Miragemen.
Miragemen, yeah. I think it's just a psychological operation. There's no disclosure. There's no aliens. It would be fun if there were, but no, I don't think so. There's no magnetic levitation technology. It's this whole big thing because I'm into the markets these days with the SpaceX IPO and all these companies that are allegedly launching things into space. They are taking multi-billions of dollars off of people's retirement funds. And what are they doing with the money? Because I don't think they're launching things into space.
Yeah, one thing I think they could be doing is doing deep space, as in like underground, any
Hmm.
underground infrastructure. I'm open to that possibility. The money's not just being spent on
I think
on.
terrestrial infrastructure
Mm.
for networking and the Starlink network, which would just be, to me, a series of high altitude or high antennas that
Have you
broadcast.
heard, oh, speaking of Starlink, Elon Musk's one of his, because he's got like this harem, and so one of his baby's mamas, like number 13 of 17, has come out and
Yeah.
she said that he admitted to her that he helped rig the election,
Oh
and
boy.
that he has 10,000 laser satellites, and he's preparing to do what he called the Matrix anomaly. This just
Mm,
came out a few days ago.
okay.
Well, the idea that he helped steal the election is built into the story in the show called The Madness, where the tech billionaire funds a bunch of online Nazis to help win the election, and then he gets killed by this Luigi-like character, an Antifa guy with a ghost gun, like the gun that Luigi Mangione used. So this is kind of a side topic, but the Elon Musk analog in the show, The Madness, gets assassinated.
Mm,
And I'm like, this is interesting because now they're bringing back that storyline with this thing. But then
yeah.
there's another Elon Musk analog in the movie, the series rather, The Boys, where before the Homelander dies, this Elon Musk like character comes in the room and he starts blabbering about rockets. And Homelander takes him outside and flies him into space
Hmm.
and leaves him there to die, obviously. So
Yeah.
the Musk character dies in that one as well. And then the same show company, the same production, they have this spin-off called Gen V. And in the second season, they have this goat named Elon, which they levitate and then they cause it to explode. So I'm just noting that the Elon Musk analogs in recent movies all die, and the Trump analogs have survived assassination attempts until Civil War 2024 and The Boys 2026. So it's like a recent change in the plot.
Interesting. Just looking at the map, how will you be going up to Seattle? I guess there's only a couple ways you can go
Yeah, I'm going to take the I-5, so I'm going to just basically go west, and then I'm going to go
to
north.
LA. So you're going to LA and then up.
Yes, and then up.
Yeah, it's a pretty long drive.
It's 30 hours, which I'm going to finish the Iliad, and I'll probably re-listen to Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. I mean, I just have a number of audiobooks to keep me company.
Homer's Iliad.
Yeah, I
Wow.
found a really good audiobook version of it. It even has the text on screen. It's exceedingly violent, well written, and I like their concept of the gods. I think that there's quite a lot there, and I'm doing it because I want to get the backstory down, because we're looking at this Christopher Nolan, The Odyssey coming out, and I
Wow.
think there might be some connection here. Because consider Nolan brought us Oppenheimer, uh, Jonathan Nolan has brought us Fallout, and then
Hmm.
they have, of course, Batman. They're known for predictive programming, for their work foreshadowing stuff. In fact, Fallout predicted Butler. So I don't think it's insignificant that The Odyssey is coming out right now. And I think there's something about this Trojan horse idea that I've been kind of noticing. And recently, Nick Fuentes,
Sorry. There's a movie called Odyssey. Homer's Odyssey is coming out.
yeah, Christopher Nolan directed it. It comes out in
Oh,
in July.
okay. Sorry, I missed that.
So yeah, well, think about it. I mean, it's IMAX. It's going to be good as far as the visuals. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting to see how
Wow.
they did this. I mean, there's some elements in it that I think are relevant to what's happening, because we're talking about. And the first reason I looked at this one was the Calypso capsule got those astronauts stranded. So we noticed that, well, Calypso's the nymph who keeps Odysseus captive for 7 years. So then you have these stranded astronauts, this stranded man, and then the Space Odyssey theme. So we're thinking Space Odyssey foreshadowed on 9/11. So could there be
Mhm.
something in this? Well, after he leaves the island, he confronts Poseidon. And what does Putin call the unmanned submarine with a nuke on it? Poseidon, which is alludes to the Kraken, the Godzilla thing. The whole sea attack is kind of brought up in this narrative. So anyway, that's my interest in it, and so I'm getting the backstory with the Trojan horse.
Yeah.
Because my final point here, Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones were just saying they think that they've already brought a nuke into our borders. They've Trojan horsed it somehow. They've smuggled in something, and they say
Mhm.
it's going to hit Chicago or New York.
Wow. Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Christopher Nolan. Oh, and Homer's a writer. That's funny. Should we watch the trailer? Have you watched this already?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, you might check it out. I've seen it before. I didn't directly allude to nukes, but I'm just looking deep into the story because, as you know, the Titanic foreshadowed 9/11, or we talked about this before, but they can put it into things artfully. And there's no way Christopher Nolan isn't providing some backdrop to something that's coming. And I think the whole flood
Right.
theme is kind of brought up here. But yeah, go ahead and play some.
Let me just play a bit.
Tell me what you remember.
A wife? A son.
And then what?
We won the war.
By the way, I have a guy on Sunday nights who thinks most fiction of the past is just fiction. Do you believe the whole Trojan horse story yourself? You think it was real, or a
No,
lot of
it's
this is
no.
fiction?
No, I don't even think Homer was one person. The whole
Yeah,
myth of him being this blind, I mean, no, I don't think so at all. But
yeah.
I have no reason. No, to me, it's a myth. The whole story couldn't be true. But I think it's well written, and what I like about it is it's describing this battle, and
Mhm.
at various times the gods will disguise themselves as someone else. They'll deep fake, and they'll guide somebody through something. So the involvement of the gods is entertaining to me.
Mhm.
But one of the other things I find it fascinating is that something will happen, like somebody will chuck a spear through somebody's head, and then Homer will like take a break from the action and go into the history of that helmet and how it was inherited and who made it and the smith and something about his family. So it kind of serves as this sort of like historical record that goes into nuanced details. Like one guy is complaining about how he's about to die on the battlefield, and back home he has these these carriages, and he's describing the horses that he has and all the details of the things he has at home. So anyway, it almost seems to me like the value of the book is almost like not clean history, but it does give you some, eyewitness descriptions of things like that are mundane that I find to be just interesting because it's like exactly as people are today,
Mhm.
fighting over women, money.
Yeah, that's
Help
true.
me go home.
This is a household waiting for master. I want you to choose me.
Ithaca's king is coming back.
No, he's not.
What would he do if he came back here and find all these suitors in his house?
You're pining for a daddy you didn't even know. Like some
Hey, one
sniveling
second.
bastard.
Yeah.
Okay, so the character, the son of Odysseus, Telemachus, his
Mhm.
mother is Penelope, and she's characterized as always weeping.
Yes.
And so if you remember the crisis actress we all talk about, Wayno Sexton,
Yes.
who was also the one at the Pulse, and then she was also at Thousand Oaks. She died in Vegas. Like she's always crying. She's the crying mother.
Right.
Well, I think it's interesting that she's the crying mother of a supposed dead person named Telemachus. I think it's kind of a mention of this Greek myth and tragedy. So she's this tragic actress, and that's why she's so overblown with her weeping. I think she's trying to, basically be really literally tragic about it. Anyway, I think the name to me is a reference to the Greek tragedy.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, I think about that.
Yeah, very good.
Who's looking after your wife and son?
Do you see?
My dad is coming home. Bringing vengeance.
Bringing it all.
I need everyone at this party dead.
Yeah, one thing my Sunday guest brought up is, could anyone really move in those suits of armor and be any bit dexterous?
You know what? If it were possible, people would be doing it. I'd like to see it. I don't know, but I think a lot of this stuff is just so exaggerated, and um, I don't know. I have a problem with the music being like
Yes, very dramatic.
anachronistically 20th century. Like, I don't know if I can handle it. I'm not sure. I might have a problem with it. But anyway, I'll watch it for the propaganda value, not for
Yeah.
the entertainment value.
Okay, well, that's a good one. Yeah, I don't know if I'll watch that one, but
Okay, one more reason to watch it for me.
Okay.
You remember the Astro World hoax where 50,000 people were at a concert, 9 got crushed to death?
Okay, where was that?
Travis Scott. It was the festival where there's crushing deaths. It was in Vegas.
Oh,
And
Vegas, the
Travis
Vegas
Scott,
thing. Okay.
yeah, I was like, oh, it looks like he's auto-tuning them to death. But no, they were getting crushed.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, well, in his video that he just released before that event, it was called Escape. And in the video, he's wearing a shirt that alludes to the rock festival, Rock Slide Festival, that Pearl Jam was in, during which 50,000 people attended, and the similar number of people got crushed. So again, escape, crush. There's this repeated
You're just
theme.
saying this is all integrated.
Yeah, because that singer, that rapper, Travis Scott, is in this movie. So anytime you see, and he's connected, I think, with Kardashian. So whenever you see these psyop actors getting into anything, it's just an indicator that they're there for a reason. So that, I don't want, to me, just it's a noteworthy element.
Well, one thing for sure, you're on top of this stuff like nobody else, way more than I am. But it's always fun to talk about it and to see what you're looking at. We're up at about an hour. My voice is kind of cracking. I'm still recovering, unfortunately.
So just so you know, just to let people know, we are looking at 611
Yes.
very, very closely, very up close and personal. So
And
thanks for having me on.
does JL do audios with you anymore? Because you were doing that last year, maybe the year before.
He might call in, but I don't know if I can take his calls. If he's going to tell me not to go, I'm like, I'm sorry, like I can't.
Yeah,
I can't
but he was.
deal with that.
This was his thing, wasn't it? Before even you.
Oh, he's the one who put it on this date. This is his whole thing. But
Yeah.
I see his rationale. We look at the reasons why he says so, and it does comport in many ways. And then one of my thinking on it, which I'll get into in my breakdown, my video on it, is that the 9/11, 6/11/11/6 thing does
Yeah.
consistently follow that the next 9/11 is going to be this inversion of 9/11, as in domestic threats. And I
Right.
have a lot that correlates with this, and it all has to do with numbers, like 11/6, 1/6, as he often points out. So we have similar, I guess, perspectives on this issue from the point of view of predictive programming.
Mm-hmm.
But he's actually a religious person who believes that something bad's going to happen, and I'm saying it's going to be fake. And I'll see how close I can get to ground fake 0. And he's under the impression that I'm going to likely die and that I need to repent and stay home, which I'm not going.
Now,
I'm not gonna
what
stay
do
home.
you what laws will be passed if something does happen? Do you think, if this will be considered a domestic terrorist event?
Okay, one, we are already crate trained. So they'll
Okay.
say, hey, it's fallout. Got to lock
Mhm.
down.
Okay.
Two, they'll say the reason why the American extremists got their hands on the nukes is because of Russian collusion with alt-right social media types. So they'll say the
Okay.
internet opened the way for collusion that facilitated the radicalization of these domestic terrorists and gave them the weapon. So there's going to be some digital ID requirements. And so to me, it's just about locking us down and then quarantining the internet. So this is how they facilitate the cyber pandemic. And the cyber pandemic isn't like a computer virus necessarily, but it's a certain thread of ideas that they say are radicalizing people, kind of like how they purged the radical mosques. I think they want to do the same thing where like Discord is now, for example, you
Does
can look at it.
Discord need ID yet? Do you think that's coming for Discord?
They pushed for it and they almost passed the idea that we'd have to put our faces on there, but they had so much blowback they delayed it. But I'm thinking if something like this happens, we won't have a reason to delay it. They won't have to worry about the PR looking bad because everybody will be doing it for the public safety. So yeah, I think they're going to do the Disease Acts, lock down the internet in the wake of a blackout EMP in the Pacific Northwest, and we'll see how they pull that off. But that's kind of the storyline based on
Wow.
content.
All right. So when are you heading up? Let's see. It is May 26th.
I'm heading out on 6/7.
Okay, 6/7, which is a Sunday. So we'll
Yes.
get one more update for sure from you next week, June 2nd.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And then I'll be live the entire time uploading videos, and I'm gonna see what I can do as far as meeting up with people and perhaps even promoting the book in some way. We'll see what happens, but I'm working on it because there's plenty of time. But I have to, prepare mainly to handle whatever's going to be in Seattle, which I think is going to be a big crowd, which is not a bad thing because if you think about it, we covered something similar 11/3/2019, and some of these channels covering Seattle under the presumption something would happen had 3,000 people watching. So if I'm the only person there streaming on this basis, I might pick up a lot of traffic, and I might just get a lot of supplemental traffic from people who just want to see Ground Zero Seattle on that day anyway, at the the Space Needle area. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But to me, this is to promote the channel and promote the whole premise. And whether we're right or wrong, we can analyze it after the fact.
Awesome. On the ground reporting. Love it. You're out there. Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for joining. Everyone support IPS at ips.monster. All kinds of ways to support his show. And thanks for bringing your big audience tonight at 55 on YouTube. One on Conspiracy Vetter YouTube channel. I guess that's one of your other ones. And
yeah, it's just a backup.
Pretty good.
The backups, because there are people who are just like randoms who grab off one channel and maybe they haven't subscribed to the others. And I find that sometimes if I just like send out a pulse that way, it'll bring something in. So we'll see if there's any life on that channel. I think there might be a few people.
Awesome. And thanks to the audience tonight. Good comments. Lots of comments in there. And yeah, we'll be back. I think I'm off tomorrow. Yeah, I am off tomorrow. So I'll be back Thursday with Lynn Ertel, who wants to talk about John LeBon's terrible audio. And
Okay.
who knows? Who knows? She said it sounded bad. I said it sounded fine. So she accused me of gaslighting her. So that'll be Thursday's exciting show, exciting controversy.
Okay. Well, I heard from her recently.
Did you?
She posts on my on Substack, and she's
Okay.
the one who clued me in that Jake the Awake is
Oh.
of the opinion that it's actually a mask because she promotes Jake the Awake or anyone relevant to me. So yeah, she's in my loop. She does
Okay.
some intel for us, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, we're all kind of overlapping. I enjoy these conversations because I like finding out what's going on through your research. I would not have thought Seattle was a thing, but now I have to watch it. So I'll watch it through you.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully something terrible happens. All right, have a great evening.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Tim OZman.